All right, it's Monday. I had to try to pretend to be excited about it. How was your weekend? Mine was okay. It was okay. Still kind of in the recovery mode from the old Rona that hit me last week. So that wasn't wonderful to spend the weekend. Still not feeling fantastic. Some other minor irritations popped up throughout the weekend. I just want to let you know if somebody's sick, leave them alone. All right. Not time for drama. All right. Just let people rest a little bit. Anyway, aside from that, the weekend, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I relaxed, didn't accomplish much, should have done some chores, but instead I watched TV, played Grand Theft Auto 5, played a little bit of the game Little Nightmares Part 2, and I did post a TikTok video about this. Victor Wilt on TikTok. My cats were very into the video game Little Nightmares 2. They don't pay a lot of attention to what's going on TV, but something about that game got their attention, and they were very bothered by it, as you can see if you check out the video I posted. Felt kind of bad. I'm like, it's just a game, kiddies. That little character's not really getting hurt. Settle down. Pretty funny video, though. I've been spending a lot of time on TikTok because Josh Tyler got me hooked back on watching TikTok videos. It's a very different world than the other social media pages. Right? It's kind of weird how each social media platform has its own feel. Like Facebook, I think it's definitely become just kind of boomer central. It's been veering into that direction for a long time. But I think the dumbest things I see are definitely on Facebook. I see tons of misinformation being spread, people just panicking, losing their minds, falling victim to online scams. It's very boomer on Facebook. Instagram's kind of middle ground. Due to the nature of how that site works, you might get some political videos and things like that, but it's not like what you see on Facebook, where that's all the discussion. TikTok, funny political videos. I actually have been getting a kick out of the TikTok videos there. And then you got Reddit, which, tends to be, in my opinion, a little bit more of an educated audience. I think you get a lot more of a reality-based perspective with the way news is presented there. And you get all the news. I saw somebody complaining about not seeing certain news stories on Facebook. And I was like, wow, your Facebook feed's very different than mine. That's all of my Facebook and also the entirety of Reddit, this one particular topic. So it appeared to be an instance of somebody looking for a reason to complain, as far as I was concerned. I don't know. The way Facebook feeds you information, who knows? I never tend to get anything sent my way that I'm like, wow, this was great. I love Facebook. So I certainly wouldn't express my dissatisfaction with news stories I want to see not popping up on Facebook. I don't think Facebook's very news-driven anymore. I think they kind of penalize news sites and are trying to keep it to, people just spreading misinformation and arguing amongst themselves rather than any kind of facts potentially being presented. So, yeah, that was my morning. Get annoyed looking at Facebook. Still a little bit scratchy-throated, as you may have just heard. Hopefully, with lots of water and fluids, it'll clear up throughout the day. Anyway, appreciate your company, tuning in. We're going to dig up some content. We're going to have as much fun as we can have on a Monday, but I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling good and everything's going great today. Oh, this should get annoying for those of you with a lead foot. Because I would imagine if they're going to do it in one state and vehicles just start implementing these type of features, it's not like they're only going to do it in the vehicles that would be put up for sale in places like California. Apparently, a law recently passed in California to require speed warnings on new vehicles. So you start getting up over the speed limit, it's going to doot, 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 give you some of that irritating beeping, like when you forget to put your seatbelt on and things like that. And a lot of people very upset about this. It's my right to speed. Well, it is the law that you're not supposed to speed. You could get tickets. And I mean, every time I have gotten pulled over for a speeding ticket, which hasn't been very many times in my life, but every single time it tended to be like in that area on the freeway in Pocatello where the speed limit changes a bunch of times and just absent-mindedly getting up to speed on the freeway. I get pulled over like right when I pull onto the freeway. And I was like, sorry, I'm used to coming out of Idaho Falls and I can kick it up to, 80 or whatever. Oh, yeah, you make a habit out of breaking the law, man. So I wouldn't personally mind if my vehicle beeped at me when I was speeding, because I don't ever go above the speed limit. I don't know. Like I said, I tend to get tickets when, you're just not paying attention. You don't have the cruise control set and, oh, geez, I'm going 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit. I better slow it down a little bit. I don't know. It could potentially help people avoid tickets and save some lives and things like that. So I don't know. To me, with all of the other safety features that have been implemented in vehicles and things like that, I don't know. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me. Sure, anytime you have new beeps while driving, it's annoying, but I mean, there's all kinds of things that annoy me that I know I'm not going to get a law passed to prevent anytime soon. That's for sure. So anyway, that's supposed to happen by 2030. And again, if they're going to make these vehicles in California, I would imagine it's just going to be that way anywhere. Now, as for whether or not the beeping will be activated everywhere, I don't know. But that's a thing, in case you were wondering. So if you were looking for something new to complain about on social media, about your right to speed being taken away, you're welcome. I'm glad to help people on a Monday who haven't figured out their Monday morning Facebook complaints yet. There you go. There you go. The Gas Pedal Patrol coming your way. Shout out to JD for bringing me a breakfast sandwich. Very kind of him. It was a nice chat this morning. Hope your day goes well. And I look forward to a little bit of fuel to help me get through a Monday. Not looking forward to the long day ahead. But we'll survive. We will survive. Hey, want to remind you that coming up October 11th, you should join us for the Stop the Silence charity ball. This is going down at the Shoshone Bandit Casino and Hotel. It's a night of dancing and fun music to help start the conversation about the effects of domestic violence while also raising funds to aid our crisis centers so they continue to help those in need. So it's a black tie charity event with dinner, music, dancing, powerful statements. If you'd like to get more information and pick up tickets, follow Stop the Silence. You can find the link in the K-Bear, Alt, or Cannonball apps. And yeah, something that'll be fun that you could also take part in to help out those in need in our community. Let's stop the silence and start the conversation with Riverbend Media Group. Again, get the details on this event going down October 11th by checking out the link in the K-Bear, Alt, or Cannonball apps. Can you really blame a coffee shop for charging money who sit there working all day using up the Wi-Fi? I think it makes sense, me personally. Some coffee shop in New York charging people $10 a day for a membership fee, and people are very upset about it. A woman named Nicole took to TikTok event saying she didn't realize she couldn't just, take up space there all day. She's like, well, I come in, I buy my $9 coffee. That should cut it. At which, okay, now I'm getting on the customer side here. All right? Buying coffee at a coffee shop is a little bit pricey. So if somebody comes in every day and dumps $9 on a cup of coffee, I'd say let them use your Wi-Fi. I'm pretty sure the profit margins on coffee are pretty high. Now, I'm no coffee expert, as you know. I drink instant coffee shooters. I drink the worst coffee there is. It's all about the caffeine. That's all I care about. Taste, I just don't care. But still, I've been to the grocery store and I've looked at the high-end coffee. Let's say $9 a package. For a small package. That'll still make many cups. So I don't know exactly where I sit on this one, but I guess it depends on the price of coffee. If your coffee is $5 or more a cup, let the people use the Wi-Fi. If it's cheaper than that, charge them the fee. And, also, maybe actually no matter what, charge them the fee. Because if you've worked in a place where you have a customer that hangs out all day, that's annoying and they should have to pay for you to have to put up with them. All right? Even if they're quiet, they're still sitting there clicking and clacking on that keyboard. All right, I'm all down for it. I'm sure there are people who spend 12 hours a day in a coffee shop. Just sitting there scrolling away. They're not even working. They don't want to buy their own internet. Make them pay. Might as well, right? Everybody got to make a little bit of money. Times are tough. As you may, or I guess may not know, every Friday morning at 8:45, I got a feature called Traffic School, powered by the Advocates. It's when you can call in and ask questions about the law. Anything you want to know about the law, you call, we'll get you some answers. Myself and Lieutenant Crane of the Idaho State Police. I was looking through a thread here of illegal things that people can't live without. And I'm very curious to see what kind of things that are illegal people will openly admit to. And I don't know, maybe these are things we need to take a look at changing the laws, right? I haven't read any of these responses. So I really don't know what we're going to get into here, but let's find out. And sorry if there keep being weird gaps in between my speech. I'm turning the mic off as I'm clearing my throat. Still a little bit of recovery mode going on in the Victor Wilt world. Thank you for being patient with me as I get feeling better. All right? Let's see here. Instead of wanting to use a public toilet, I sometimes go in the wild on long hikes or while camping because I cannot make it. All right, I don't think anyone's going to be prosecuted for while out hiking or camping not using a public restroom. It probably technically is illegal, but I'm pretty sure you're fine. All right, now if you're just right in the middle of the trail, dropping trowel, you got to get off the trail a bit and go behind a tree, okay? You got to find somewhere to sort of conceal yourself, and you're going to be okay. I think to get in trouble for using the bathroom while hiking, you're going to have to be being pretty blatantly disgusting, all right? But, again, maybe technically illegal. I don't know. That would be a good question for Lieutenant Crane. Hey, if you're out hiking, is it illegal to go to the bathroom in public? Because we know it, in the middle of town, yeah, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to end up on a list. Let's see here. Street taco vendors. Okay, I guess they're talking about people who don't have a license to be out selling food in public. Now, I would assume most people do, though. So I don't know. I don't know. Is this a major issue? People slinging tacos that shouldn't be? I don't know. As far as I'm aware, they always tend to be parked in the same spot. I would assume they've got some arrangements worked out. But I don't know. Maybe this person who made this comment knows of their illegal taco vendor, and they're like, I just can't live without them. Their illegal tacos are the best. All right, when the next legal U-turn I'm allowed to perform is 10 blocks down at the next light, and there's not a single car on the road, the law can kiss my butt, is what we'll say. Yeah. Do you think you can get away with it? If there's a no U-turn sign, you're just rolling the dice there. It's kind of like, and we've talked about this on Traffic School, when you get stuck at a red light that just won't change. And I think the law is, you need to go through 3 cycles before you're able to just make your turn. What if it isn't cycling? How am I supposed to tell? Blah, blah, blah. Use your best bet. It still feels like rolling the dice. I would imagine if you get pulled over, you're going to go, hey, the light wouldn't change. I don't know how you're going to get away with talking your way out of a illegal U-turn, though. So that's got to be a pretty rare situation that this person's talking about. I just can't live without that U-turn. You could go the 10 blocks and then turn around, or take a different route when you begin. If you're ending up in the position all the time to where you can't live without an illegal U-turn, I think you're taking a bad route to work. That's what I think. All right, let's see here. I often give verbal accounts of games without the expressed written consent of the NFL. Yeah, you're not supposed to describe that. That's why I don't talk sports. Don't need to be getting sued by the NFL. All right, someone says, pirating movies. How do you justify that? I'm from a third world country. I cannot afford to buy movies or have it on a subscription. There may be areas, there have to be, where Netflix, things like that aren't available. And if you're like really far out in the middle of nowhere, very difficult to actually get your hands on a movie. I don't know. Still seems like you're breaking the law, but I don't know. If the movie industry starts cracking down on people in third world countries for illegal downloading, I'd like to let them know there's probably more important things to work on. This person, jaywalking, I would literally go insane without it. Well, then you need to learn a little bit of patience. The go ahead and cross the walk sign, it will pop up eventually. I don't wait 2 minutes, I just go. I go crazy without jaywalking. What are you talking about here? Going 5 miles over the speed limit on the interstate. I just can't go without it. You could. These people are liars. These are things they could live without. Let's see. There's a red light between my friend's house and mine that's on a timer, which as far as I can tell based on the time of day. So if I'm going home after midnight, I end up stuck at it for a solid 10 minutes when there's no other cars in sight. I don't think I've ever not lost patience and run that red light eventually. I've done it right in front of a cop and they don't seem to care. They know it sucks just as much as I do. Yeah, there was a light that I got stuck at when I was got done dropping Lou Brutus off at his hotel a couple weeks ago. And this light would not change. It was very annoying. And it was doing the cycles. It just was not registering that I was there, which is ridiculous. I'm in a giant truck. But I did end up waiting my few cycles and going through the light. If there's a red light that's on a timer and it drives you crazy every single time, take a different route. It's what you got to do. The stoplight by my house gets this way sometimes. And it gets very frustrating when I'm on my way to work. And when it's doing that, I take a different route through the neighborhood to get to a different light till they get around to fixing it. Yeah. Because nothing would aggravate me more than getting pulled over on my way to work. It's just too early for that. I would be so annoyed. Or a hand in the face. I'm sure everybody since now has seen the video of the fight that erupted at the Jane's Addiction show in Boston Friday night. Why? Why these old guys getting all fussy, huh? Now, there are a bunch of different articles making the rounds here. One was from, who was this, Perry Farrell's wife? Saying that he was a crazed beast. But I've yet to, after reading through this article, find her explanation for why. Now, there was some type of a, issue with some sound. Apparently, Perry Farrell, according to his wife, thought that the band's sound levels were drowning out his vocals, so he just attacks Dave Navarro, the guitarist. That's what the sound man's for. You're ever at a show and you got some sound issues, you talk to the sound guy like, hey, Could you turn my vocals up and the monitors up here? I can't hear myself. Because your guitarist can't fix that. All right? If he turns himself down, it's going to mess up the whole mix. This is all on the sound guy. So I'm guessing there had to be more than that. You know, not being able to hear your vocals is not a reason to attack your bandmates. I've done a lot of live shows in my days. I've been irritated with my bandmates while on stage. I don't think I ever attacked them. I might have shoved a couple of them in fun. You know? It's fun to shove each other around on stage a little bit, but never out of anger. Just out of making for a good show. All right? Anyway, there's a lot of video making the rounds. It's sad, though. Sad. You don't want to see bands fighting each other on stage. What I want to see is bands talking crap about other bands on stage. You know, let's bring back some old-fashioned band drama. Some beef, as they call it. Not within the band. You know, I want to see some young bands taking some shots at other bands. A little bit of smack talk. I mean, that's all the internet is all day. Might as well bring it into the music world. We don't see it very often. I don't want to see violence. I just want to see people talking crap to each other. It makes for fun. Turn their fans against one another. So anyway, I don't know exactly what's been going down. I would imagine being on the road, period, is a little bit stressful. But when you're that age, Jane's Addiction been around a long time. They, stopped doing the band thing many a times. Maybe they have trouble getting along. And if you have trouble getting along with people, being stuck with them for like a month, it might make you kind of crazy. And who knows? Maybe they've got some drama that's untold that finally led to, all right, I've had it. I can't take it anymore. Bam! Time to punch you in the face. I still don't think that's ever the solution. Violence, never the answer. Lashing out, never the answer. Be the bigger person. Yeah, just try to turn the other cheek. It can be very challenging at times to be the bigger person and turn the other cheek. But sometimes it's what you got to do because, you're just going to make things worse. All right? Look at this situation with Jane's Addiction. Should have taken a chill pill, as they say a little bit, but I hope the guys can get back to it eventually. They've canceled some dates, and I don't know. Maybe they can make a movie like Metallica, some kind of monster. Let's all get into counseling together and hammer it out, huh? I don't think we'll see another one of those anytime soon. Still trying to get over the old sickness. Still clearing out a few things. I try to turn the mic off when I'm like, ahem, but fail sometimes. So I'm going to get into this song in a minute. Probably after Freak News. I would have played it right now, but I had to get my hands on a copy and all that good stuff. Over the weekend, I saw a news article about this band called Neon Nightmare, and the article was comparing them to Type O Negative. And you don't hear a lot of bands that sound like Type O Negative, so I was curious. I'm like, all right, how much like Type O could this sound like? Neon Nightmare sounds a lot like Type O Negative. And as you know, I'm a huge Type O Negative fan. So you'd think, likely I'm going to lose my mind about this. Come up with your own sound, see? Meh. But we have no new Type O Negative coming our way. So to hear somebody sort of carrying on that sound, and the song was actually pretty good, I think I'm actually digging it. Now, they actually have two songs out. The one that dropped the other day that I checked out first, I think it's the better of the two. It's called She's Drowning. That's the one I'm going to play for you eventually here on the show today, sometime in the next 20 minutes. But they got another song called Lost Silver. If you look at the band's artwork, clearly the band is paying homage to Type O Negative. If you've ever seen a Type O Negative album art, they put the words, the band name, and then the title of the album in the corners. These guys are definitely being very clear with their homage to Type O Negative. But again, the song was good. And I tried to dig up some information on this band, Neon Nightmare. There's like nothing out there. All right, their socials are all brand new. I even hit up Type O Negative's manager, My friend Mark, he's been Typo's manager for decades. I was like, dude, okay, Mark, what is up with this Neon Nightmare band? Give me the scoop. And he's like, well, we got tagged in a few things, but I hadn't checked it out yet. I'm like, what? Mark, you got to go check this out, all right? And then he didn't get back to me. So I'm wondering, is there something mysterious going on here? There had been rumors floating around for the last long while that Typo was considering maybe trying something new with a new vocalist, and everyone's like, that's impossible. Now, I don't think this necessarily sounds exactly like Typo. Like, I'm not saying this is Typo with a new singer. I don't think that. It could be, I guess. All I'm saying is if you're a Typo fan, you got to check it out, and I will play the song for you, but the fact that I can't find any information about this band, who's in it, nothing, very mysterious, is making me go, all right, what's going on here? Is there more to the story, or is this just simply a pretty well rolled out marketing campaign for a brand new band? Now, there have to be some power players involved behind the scenes with this band. There got to be. I mean, they got the press. I suppose you could hit up Metal Injection and pay them some dough, be like, hey, write an article about this, check it out. And I mean, it is very, very Typo influenced. But anyway, we'll dig in to Neon Nightmare throughout the show today. I just wanted to let you know that was coming. If you're a Typo fan, you might find this interesting. But first, we're going to have to take a break and get to some freak news. So hang on. More Neon Nightmare stuff on the way. But yes, break, freak news, and then we'll get into that, all right? I think you're going to be hopefully pleasantly surprised by this song. I listened to it multiple times. I'm like, this is actually really good. Freak news powered by Grease Monkey, voted Idaho's best oil change. Welcome to the Victor Wilt Show. Hi, happy Monday. Yay. All right. At least the morning is going by quickly. Got a little bit too much on the plate today, but I think I've got a pretty good opportunity facing me for the day to go by quickly. So, all right, that's good. We already talked about Jane's Addiction throwing down on stage. That was about the most interesting rock story over the weekend that I can think of. What else did I stumble across? We talked a little bit about that band Neon Nightmare. That's what we're going to get into after the top of the hour. First time I've ever heard a Typo negative ripoff band that, really... Well, actually, it's the first time I've ever heard a Typo negative ripoff band. But they did a really good job. We'll get into that in a minute. What else is going on? I mean, my Facebook feed... Okay, I can talk about the nightmare that is my Facebook feed. Because it is blowing my mind. Especially when I see people who I know have it together mentally, but they're just kind of going crazy right now. And this is a sensitive topic, apparently, but I have to dive into it. You don't need to worry about people eating your pets, all right? Jeez! My entire Facebook feed right now, I thought people would be over this one a week ago. Move along, because it's so ridiculous. They're eating the cats and dogs. No, I actually gotten into a Facebook argument with a Facebook friend about this yesterday. Because they're posting about this stuff. I'm like, hey, all of the news stories are saying this is completely made up. There is no evidence whatsoever that people in Springfield, Ohio. I was going to make a big bit out of this and pull the clip of Trump saying, in Springfield, they're eating the pets and dogs, and call, my friend Joe's wife, call her up in Springfield, because I have hung out in Springfield, Idaho a lot, so I thought it would make a fun bit that animals were being eaten in Springfield. Call some people in Springfield, call the Springfield market. Are you serving cat? But seriously, everybody, you got to settle down a little bit. All right, with this whole pet eating thing. It's ridiculous. There is zero evidence of this happening. And in the course of the discussion I got into, it's like, well, maybe they're not eating pets, but the community's facing problems due to a bunch of people moving in. Okay, that happens everywhere. Okay? We've got those challenges around here. Drive down 17th any afternoon or Sunnyside. You will have the same head of hair that I do by the end of your travels home because we've been flooded with people in the last few years. All right? Anywhere that experiences a sudden burst of population is going to have some challenges. It doesn't mean that people are feasting on cats and dogs, all right? And again, I asked for proof. I'm like, show me proof. And it's like, well, here's a link to a news article about it. And it's like, okay, well, the news article's talking about how these people in this community are dealing with challenges due to lots of people moving in. There's nothing in the news article about people eating cats and dogs because it was made up. It's made up, people. You just got to dig a little bit deeper. I'm all for political discourse and having a discussion. I think political discussions are good, much as they tend to annoy me in this day and age. But you got to push out the information that's just completely insane, okay? That has zero evidence backing it up, okay? And even if there was a video footage of somebody at a city council meeting going, I saw him eating a dog. Have you ever been to a city council meeting? Any crazy person can get up and talk, okay? I've seen people make local videos for YouTube, Facebook, things like that, where they're just ranting and raving about completely insane things. Just because you see a video of a person saying something doesn't mean that it's true. It's like a few weeks ago, I was on air saying, it's Peach's birthday. Hey, everybody, happy birthday, Peaches. I lied and made it up. You could have still bought him a present. But again, I just jumped on air and lied. Just straight up was like, it's Peach's birthday. It wasn't. Just because you hear or see something doesn't mean that you can immediately just go, that's true. All right, and sure, I'm brave enough to take a call on this. I don't care. K-Bear, you're live on the show. Please keep that in mind. Who's this?
This is Jay.
Crazy Jay, my favorite person who eats not dogs or cats, but rather squirrels. Jay, how are the squirrels treating you today? You got to be careful. They could be packing rabies and things. What temperature do you have to cook squirrel meat to ensure that you don't pick up some type of a parasite?
380 for at least 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jay. Anybody out there who's into roadkill, anytime you need a little bit of advice, glad to help you out. So what up, Crazy Jay?
Well, it just shows that how bad our political system has become, is all I'm saying.
No, it really does, because people don't actually do any research. They just have a sudden gut reaction. They pick up on talking points, and then they are told, you need to go crazy about this, and then they do. And a lot of times, it's a complete non-issue, like a nothing issue. Or completely made up, like this one, made up.
There's a bunch of others that I won't even get into, because I have some friends that really talk all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even want, I didn't talk about it last week because it was so stupid. I'm like, this will be gone. But when I wake up and I'm still getting, piles of this morning, it's like, all right, time to say something because this is just stupid.
Yes. They said it during the debate.
I know, and it was one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever seen set. Well, the last few debates we've seen, they're not like the ones we had 20 years ago. Little bit different. So I wasn't too surprised to see ridiculous lies being said during the debate. It's when people keep rolling with it. Where I'm like, come on, guys. You don't believe this. You don't truly believe this. But
look it up yourself. Look it up.
Well, apparently, people look up YouTube videos. I saw a guy on TikTok tell me the truth. So, anyway, Jay.
YouTube never lies.
Well, I appreciate the call today, Jay, and I hope you have a good one.
You too.
Thanks, buddy. See ya.
All right.
K-Bear, you are live on the Victor Wilt Show. Please keep that in mind. Who's this?
Jim.
Jim, what's up?
Hey, I've eaten dog, and it's pretty tasty. No, I spent a year in Asia, and it was great.
All right. And I have heard of people visiting other countries where they did see, meats for sale that you don't see for sale in the U.S. But yeah, as far as I know, we're still doing okay on that front here. So,
Well, that in the Eastern Sea area where the immigrants have flocked due to busing and the accommodations that were provided, I would not be surprised to hear that dog was on the menu for some.
Now, see, I think that's the type of mind state that led to these type of accusations, but there is zero evidence that this is actually happening. So
and there is zero evidence that it is not.
What do you mean zero evidence that
What? How can you prove that it's not happening?
Because they're looking into it. Nobody has said, look, here's the video footage of him eating my dog. Like
Who's okay? Whatever.
Like what do you? I don't know what you're looking for. The lack of evidence does not indicate that something is happening. Just because, hey, we can't prove that it isn't. No, the burden of proof lies on those making the accusations. Prove that people's pets are being taken and eaten. It's that easy. Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So anyway, just had to throw it out there because my Facebook feed's really annoying me today. I know people are, smarter than this.
Oh, but dog is tasty. I'd rather eat it than beef any day of the week.
All right, buddy. Well, you're not going to be able to get away with that in the U.S. You're going to have to move to some other kind of country where that is the way things tend to work. So sorry, man.
I understand. Bye-bye.
Bye. Anyway, we'll be back, and we're going to get into that band Neon Nightmare and stuff like that. Right now, we've got to take our quick break to kick off the top of the hour. And yeah, then we'll dig into something a little bit more tasteful than the eating of pets. What's happening, Peaches? Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you bring any snacks? I'm hungry now.
I have some leftover oatmeal cereal.
Oatmeal cereal? But that's not the new in thing to snack on, Peaches. I'm hungry.
I heard the entire last break. It was great.
And I got calls afterward.
Shut up and play the music.
No, I didn't get any of that. It was people saying, well, hey, I saw this and I saw that. And I'm like, will you please send me this stuff? Because in the discussion I was having on Facebook yesterday when I got fed up with this stuff, I was like, show me proof. Just show me the proof that everybody's supposedly seeing. I saw a video of people eating cats. I'm like, okay, well, where is it? Not that I want to see that. I love little kitties.
There was literally an AI image. I meant to send it to you. Somebody made an AI image of some person eating a cat or running away with a cat. And there were boomers in the comment section saying, get them out of our country.
See, that's the problem is there are so many AI images that get shared online nowadays.
It's terrible.
And boomers fall for them left and right. There's whole subreddits dedicated to boomers falling for AI images. And so I'm like all down. I believe that crazy things happen in the world. I've been alive long enough to see some really wacky things happen. But if you're going to lose your mind about it, just show me the proof. That's all I want to see. And then I would have went, oh, geez, there's the proof. Look at that neighborhood barbecue going on. And that's what happened to Rover and all his friends. But I haven't seen
I had a dog named Rover.
You had a dog named Rover?
Yeah, it was a beagle.
Oh, well, that's a standard dog name, Peaches.
Lived to 18 years old.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll move along from people eating pets to a different type of nightmare, that being the band Neon Nightmare. Have you heard of this band, Peaches?
No, I heard you mention them once, and that was it. And I'm like, okay, that's a neat name.
Yeah, so I'm hanging out over the weekend, just still kind of recuperating, being lazy. Was scrolling Facebook, and I see this article about, this band sounds like Typo Negative in the modern age. And I'm looking at the artwork, and the artwork, like, these guys are clearly going for a typo look. The way they threw their album cover together, they've got the band name and the album title in the corners. It's stylized the exact same way that Typo does their albums. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll check out the song. How close to Typo Negative could a band actually sound? Because we hear bands rip off bands all the time.
You showed me that one about the Deftones track, the one that sounded exactly like Deftones.
And that was like they ripped off the riffs, you know. But there have been a lot of bands over the years heavily inspired by Deftones who put out music that sounds a lot like Deftones. When nu metal became a thing, when Korn and Limp Bizkit and Deftones blew up, every band out started sounding like that. When Nickelback and Creed blew up, every band out sounded like that.
It's funny, there's a lot of bands popping up now that sort of sound like Spirit Box.
Yeah, you're starting to see a lot more of that.
People are getting mad in the metal industry, like, stop it, get your own sound.
And it's tough to figure out your own sound, but Typo's such a unique sound. I was like, I can't imagine a band really sounding that much like Typo, because, they're very distinctive. Nobody sounds like Typo, from the vocals to the actual music itself.
Yeah.
Well, Neon Nightmare does sound like Typo Negative. Like,
is their lead singer also 6'9" and looks like a vampire?
I don't know. There's no information on the band.
It's a mystery. It's another one of those Sleep Token where you don't know what they look like.
And so I hit up Typo Negative's manager. I texted him and was like, hey, have you heard this? And it took him a while to get back to me. Usually he's pretty quick. And he's like, yeah, I saw we got tagged in some posts online, but I haven't got around to checking them out yet. And I'm like, check them out. I need to know what you think about this. As Typo's, he's been their manager for decades.
How is he still their manager if they're not around?
Well, they still put out, re-releases and limited editions, things
AI.
like that. You still got to manage the catalog. The band's still making money because
I hope so.
The music's still out there being consumed. But I was like, yeah, they're being kind of mysterious about this. They're not really saying anything. And he's like, interesting. And then he never got back to me. So I'm like, all right. There have been rumors over the years that Typo would consider like a tribute tour or something like that, getting back together. This is the closest to anything I've ever heard that's like, if Peter Steele was alive, I could believe this is new Typo Negative. Like, here,
that'd be great.
We're going to check it out right now.
Okay.
It's actually a really good song. I'm sure it's just some big Typo fans who are doing a thing. I don't think it's much of a mystery beyond that, but check it out. Neon Nightmare, She's Drowning. All right, Peaches found a picture of the band, supposedly, here on social media, or on Google. Got two dudes.
I saw a picture that had 3 guys.
I know, and I'm trying to find that picture. Where'd you see that picture?
I just looked up Neon Nightmare Band.
All right, Neon Nightmare Band.
That was like one of the first ones that popped up.
Okay, we've got the guy with no face.
First one.
This one? Right here.
No.
All right. Where is this picture?
Loading in still from what it looks like.
See, it's almost like they took it down and swapped that picture out. Trying to be mysterious. Very mysterious. Somebody commented, sounds like AI made a Typo song. No, I think it's too good to be AI. Okay, is this the band? No, this is a band with a song called Neon Nightmare. So this picture of the two dudes, let's see if we could bring up that video. Okay. Oh, no, that's a different band, Peaches.
That's what I thought. Okay.
That's the band Lakeview with Neon Nightmare.
Ah. And I thought Lakeview was more than 2 people.
Yeah, I don't know much about Lakeview. So, okay, and this is another band called Wildlife with a song called Neon Nightmare. So, this photo that has been removed from the PRP seems to be the only image floating around of this band, Neon Nightmare. And they seem to have been trying to scrub the internet of that picture because it's nowhere to be found now. Weird, man. Weird. But that picture is also kind of small and cruddy, so I can't make out anybody in the photos there if they're anybody of note.
They look relatively young. They look like they're in their early 30s.
But they have another song out called Lost Silver, which that's a very typo named song. Same with She's Drowning. You saw the album art, very, very typo. I don't know, I'm interested to see more from this band. They're leaning into it pretty heavy. They don't seem to be like Greta Van Fleet where they're pretending they're not inspired by Led Zeppelin.
That's the problem with Greta Van Fleet. That's what caused a lot of hate for that band, is because they went, we're not inspired at all by Led Zeppelin. We're doing our own thing.
Yeah, it's like, no, come on, guys, just admit it. It'd be like if somebody heard some of my riffs and were like, have you ever heard of the band Tool? Your riffs kind of sound like Tool sometimes. No, I've never heard of that.
Tool like a hammer?
Start playing some crushing riffage. Have you ever heard metal before? No? What's that? I came up with this sound myself. So anyway, check out more of Neon Nightmare. I messaged the band on Facebook. I messaged them on Instagram because they have no followers. I'm like, I got to get the dirt on this band. And they won't get back to me. Shame be upon them, Peaches.
I hate when bands do that. You know what?
I hate that too.
I'm starting to have a grudge with Dayseeker.
Hey, do you think now that Dave Grohl has been, kind of shamed online and he's, bad guy Dave Grohl now, do you think maybe now I can finally get an interview with him? Has he been knocked down a few pegs?
Well, do you think he's really doing any interviews with radio stations?
He should do one with me right now.
So what's it like cheating on your wife? Are you happy still?
Oh, jeez.
Are you gonna make an album inspired by this? I'm telling you, that's what a guy.
How old is Dave Grohl?
Late 40s, early 50s, probably early 50s.
He's got to be at least 50. I mean, because
Kurt Cobain, I think, would have been 50 not that long ago if he was still alive.
Because Nirvana, okay, he's 55 years old. All right, dudes, let me tell you this. This is just my opinion. Once you hit 40, at 40, it's time to get the snip, okay? Because you don't want to be the 55-year-old dad with a newborn.
Because it's almost like a selfish move. By the time that kid is 15, you're 70.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro just had a baby not that long ago.
And he's
Dude's 80.
Yeah. Your kid's not going to get to see dad.
That 10-year-old's going to have a dead dad.
Exactly. Get the snip. Everything still works. All right, if you get the snip. The only thing you don't have to worry about is the little babies popping up. Dave,
If he did that, there wouldn't have been the big news story. We would
I'm
have
not
saw
trying
him
to
as
justify cheating. Cheating is horrible.
It's awful.
If you've been cheated on, it's terrible. Makes you feel awful.
I can't imagine
don't do
being
that.
now Violet and the other. How many kids does he have? 2?
Well, and that's the thing. When you're a major celebrity, it becomes an international news story.
And then now when these kids go to school and such, it's like, ha ha, your dad cheated on your mom.
Yeah, and kids do that kind of thing. So you don't want your kids to have to go through that.
And that poor lady. I mean, that poor wife of his.
Yeah, if you're going to be an irresponsible dirtbag and go out and cheat on your spouse, at least don't impregnate the other person.
Jeez, all right.
Okay?
Helpful tips from Victor Will.
I don't advocate cheating at all, but that's...
Get Dave Grohl on the Zoom call right now and tell him that.
Dave, bad boy! You're a bad boy, Dave! Peaches just brought to my attention something else that people are losing their minds about online. I haven't seen this one yet. Should also have been another example of something people could quickly Google, because there are lots of articles about symbolism and things like that, where you could understand why the artiste that made the Statue of Liberty did certain things and what they symbolize. But no, Peaches, no! This is a clear, in-our-face symbol of our oppression and how they're keeping us chained up. People, can you please just read into stuff a little bit? A little bit of research. Wikipedia can work miracles for you. And there's a lot of articles about the various chains and shackles at the Statue of Liberty and what they mean. You know, I think that because of people like Alex Jones, a lot of conspiratorial-minded people have been trained to think that, Big Brother and the New World Order, Peaches, are so proud of the ways that they have, kept humanity down, that they do everything they can to just rub it in our face all the time. Like, have you ever folded up a dollar bill a certain way, Peaches, and you can see the World Trade Center collapsing on it? It's the truth, Peaches. They put it right on the money. What about that all-seeing eye? What about the little owl that appears on there? Huh? Now, there are real-life examples of conspiracies, okay? Those can also be researched. And I'm not saying that everything you might hear, that some of it might not turn out to someday be true. But even as someone who's, Peaches, I have read so many conspiracy theory books.
Please tell me.
Since I was a teenager.
You've come across.
I've never heard this Statue of Liberty one.
Please tell me you've come across schizogram.
Schizogram?
Instagram, but schizophrenic people just going wild on there.
No.
There's a guy that I think I talked about. It's sort of messed up. Like he'll look up at like the chemtrails in the sky, and he'll start like heavily breathing, and he's like legit worried. He's like, "What is that? What's going on?" And people in the comments are like, "Get a gun, get bunkered up, get food."
Geez. No,
like,
no, listen.
they're egging him on.
Do not egg on crazy people online. Jeez.
The comments are so funny though.
You know why we have horrible things, crazy, horrible, violent acts happen around the world? It's because people egg on crazy people. Spreading disinformation and spreading conspiracy theories are why people snap and end up going out and shooting people.
I mean, who's that one lady that we were like sort of putting comments on her live video on YouTube that like, what was her name? Tammy?
Tammy. Well, we didn't tell her, "Hey, Tammy, they're all out to get you, Tammy."
No, but we were more so like, "Hey, this Brad Royal guy was talking bad about you in the news."
Yeah, okay.
Something like that.
I mean, hey, do you know Trevor Phillips?
I was messing with this one guy. He was doing like this like live prayer video.
Peaches, just let people do their prayer.
And I went like Victor Wilt 214 says, "I don't like this."
Peaches, don't throw me into the mix. Then you got crazy people coming after me. All right? I don't need crazies coming after me. I deal with enough lunatics.
I don't think he even read it. It just went right by, and that was it.
Well, hey, let's take a call. We might as well. Let's just do a Monday thing. K-Bear, you're live on the show. Please keep that in mind. Who's this?
This is Jay again.
Crazy Jay, you already gave us your squirrel recipes. What else do you have for us?
Dave Grohl just needs to learn how to wear a Jimmy hat.
Jay, now listen. It wasn't that bad, but I still dumped you. You're right. Dave Grohl should have used protection. We'll say it that way. For some reason, the way you sounded, it sounded a little dirty.
Those memes are hilarious, though.
The memes are pretty good, and he's asking for it. You want to go out and...
He was the pretender all along. That was a good one.
All right, Jay, good to hear from you, man.
He got the best of himself.
I just had it, and all conspiracies are right.
And Jay says, say it. I heard it. I heard it from a listener. He reported in that all conspiracy theories are real. A real person said it. It's got to be true. All right. Thanks, Jay. See you.
All right, bye.
Have you seen, there's another conspiracy theory that we should definitely look at for the noon hour maybe, about Frankie Valli. My Uncle Sonny, for some reason, he was like, "Oh, do you know who this guy is?" He shows me a video of him seeing Frankie Valli live in concert like not that long ago.
Yeah,
he's like, do you know who this guy is? And I'm like, "No, who is that?" And he goes, "That's Frankie Valli." I'm like, "Okay, I've heard the name, but I wouldn't have recognized him from somebody in the crowd recording the whole thing."
Yeah.
And now this video pops up of him looking like a Disneyland animatronic.
He's not looking too good.
And people are saying like, "Oh, he's actually dead. That's just some fake figure that they have," or I don't know what it is, or he owes a lot of money to the mob and that's why he's still performing at 90 years old.
And that could be. But
it's like, can you imagine poking some old person with a stick and saying, "Sing for me"? Like that's what it sort of feels like.
Dude, there's a lot of guys who they don't know what else to do with their time aside from just keep doing what they do. Look at Howard Stern. He makes $100 million a year. He's old. He should retire.
Did you see him?
He's not going to. Look at Ozzy, Peaches. Ozzy,
he's not singing.
He has. He has.
Oh no, Howard Stern. Like, there's a picture of him with Jimmy Kimmel in Italy just recently. Man, does he look like Big Bird? He has that.
Well,
he has that stupid haircut still. That I am now on the side of that's a wig. 100%.
I'm guessing it is.
Nobody that age has jet black hair, and his facial hair that he has, the scruff that he has, is all white and silver. And
well, his
there's
hair
no way.
Definitely dyed.
Yeah, well,
as for it being a wig, I don't know.
That looks like a wig to me.
But yeah, old people, when they get really old, you can tell. Frankie Valli's not an AI. He's not a robot.
His
he
eyes
is
are like
extremely old. Okay,
his eyes are wide open. They're not blinking.
Go back and watch that debate between Biden and Trump. That is two old guys. Meh, golf game. Meh, you're a sucker. Whatever, you're a loser. Meh. Those guys are old, man.
I sent you that video,
clearly
though,
old.
of all the political debates over the years of them saying, like, hey, I support my other candidate. If he wins, I'll be...
They're very nice to
very
each
nice
other,
and
shaking hands.
And then they cut to ours, or like the most recent one.
Yeah, we're in very different times now. People a little bit more divided than they were about 20 years ago. You're not going to hear politicians in a debate say, hey, they're a nice guy. not even like the bare minimum. Hey, hi. It's just attack. Attack. They're going to destroy the planet. They're eating the cats and dogs. Who would have ever thought we'd hear some of the things we've heard in the last two debates?
I mean,
these are the people in charge of, one of them's going to take
gas prices.
the most.
They're in charge of gas prices, Victor. They're in charge of grocery store prices too.
I know. I've seen those memes making the rounds. I want to remind everybody, the president is a figurehead that does not ultimately have that much power. Okay, that's why they say they're going to do all these things, and they rarely get any of it done. You have to deal with Congress. You have to deal
with a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's nuts that you try to like saying, hey, can I pass this very obvious bill? And then it's like whole process that they just twisted and turned.
It's not as simple as just bam, bam, get it done.
It's like radio
or
sales.
Or they would.
Yeah.
Still kind of clearing out a little bit of crud. I keep getting a little bit scratchy. Every now and again when I talk, I'm like, time to make my black metal album today. Mm-hmm. With all the arguing I see online about traffic law, I wanted to let people know you can go to the state of Idaho's website, idaho.gov. You can get yourself a copy of the driver's manual or even take a sample driver test so you could find out how much you know about the rules of the road. All right, and maybe learn a thing or two. Now, the best way to learn about traffic law is obviously by tuning into Traffic School, powered by the Advocates every Friday morning. But, I have learned a lot over the years, hosting that feature with Lieutenant Crane of the Idaho State Police. I would consider myself a bit of an expert in the world of traffic law. I wonder if I could pass the sample practice driver's test. I haven't been in driver's ed for about 30 years. That's kind of horrible to think. It's true, though. Almost 30 years. So I haven't read the Idaho driver's manual in about that time. But I did get my refresher every Friday for the last 10 years during Traffic School powered by the Advocates. Let's take a look here. Let's see how hard the practice driver's test is. I'll try to mow through it as fast as possible. All right, if you're driving and 21 years of age or older, okay, what is considered the limit for blood alcohol concentration? 0.2, 0.04, 0.06, or 0.08. That would be 0.08 or more. You got it correct, Victor Wilt. All right, which of the following is a common cause of a crash? If I get this wrong, I'm going to be very mad. Inattentive driving, excessive speed for the driving conditions, following too closely, or all the above. Wow, I wonder. It's obviously all the above. Jeez. And come on. You could have made the question harder than that. This practice test. This is like common sense so far. All right, let's see. If approaching an emergency vehicle that is stopped with lights flashing and the road has 2 lanes carrying traffic in the same direction. Do you maintain current speed and move quickly to a lane away from the emergency vehicle? Reduce speed and safely vacate the lane closest to the emergency vehicle? Maintain current speed and stay in the right lane? Or pull to the side of the road and stop completely? Now, I would assume they're talking about if you're on the same side of the road as the emergency vehicle, because it says that the road has 2 lanes carrying traffic in the same direction. All right? I believe if you are in that particular or on that side of the road, you would need to pull to the side of the road and stop completely. Let's see if that's what it says is correct. Incorrect. Maintain current speed and move quickly to a lane away from the emergency vehicle. I still think you're supposed to pull over. Reduce speed and safely vacate the lane closest to the emergency vehicle. Maintain current speed and stay in the right lane. All right, let's try reduce speed and safely vacate the lane closest to the emergency. Now, vacating the lane closest to the emergency vehicle, that is the lane closest to the emergency vehicle of which they are not in. Therefore, I would think pulling to the side of the road would be the way to go. So I don't know. I'm going to fight with Lieutenant Crane about this one on Friday. If 2 vehicles arrive at a 4-way stop at the same time, all right, I'm not even going to read the responses here. I believe the person to the right has the right of way. Vehicle on the left must yield to the vehicle on the right. Yeah, correct. Before changing lanes, check your blind spot only if you have an older vehicle. Begin signaling as you move into the next lane. Signal at least 500 feet in advance on residential streets and always check your blind spot. Is this a multiple choice? I guess always check your blind spot. But you should signal a certain amount of time in advance. Isn't it like 3 seconds? This is why it's important to listen to Traffic School powered by The Advocates. Because even right here on the practice test, things are getting a little bit wonky. Oh, this is a long practice test. I didn't even look at this. I'm not doing this on air. There's 60 questions. We're done with that. As we approach the election, want to remind you to register to vote. Vote.gov. There you go. You can get over there. It'll link you to the Idaho website where you can register to vote. If you are registered to vote, I would like to remind you to double check your voter registration. Okay? There's a lot of purging of voter rolls going on around the country. People who haven't voted in a certain number of years or things like that. Now, I think in Idaho, you can still register same day to vote in the election. But just in case you can't, I recommend checking to make sure that you are registered to vote somewhat often leading up to the election, so that if you are for some reason purged from voter rolls for not voting for too long or whatever, you can get the problem dealt with beforehand. I think the election is going to be very important for people to vote in. I did a little break about this a while back where, my whole life, when it comes to national elections, I've really felt like, in places like Idaho, if you're not on a particular side, your vote doesn't matter. And I was wrong about that. I want to stress, because a lot of people feel this way, that just because of the Electoral College and living in a state that tends to sway one direction, that doesn't mean you shouldn't get out and vote for the way you feel. All right? If you look back over the history of every state, they've gone through these fluctuations of political ideology. You go back a ways in Idaho. I didn't know this, but I was talking to a conservative friend about this, and he's like, Idaho used to lean Democrat till like the 70s or something. I looked into it, and we had tons of Democratic governors and things like that, but things have swayed in the other direction in the last, few decades. Doesn't mean things can't change again. I was reading the Texas subreddit. There's a lot of discussion about this in the Texas subreddit because Texas, over the last few decades, has been becoming more of a purple state. And when you look at the amount of people who just don't go out and vote, if everybody who was eligible to vote voted in the elections, things would probably look way different in pretty much every state. But I think one of the main problems is that people like myself have been brainwashed from a young age into thinking, Idaho just is always this way. So, it's probably not that important to vote. Idaho only has a couple electoral votes anyway, blah, blah, blah. No, I think it really is important to get out and vote with your heart. Vote for the candidate you think's most important, even if you think your state's going to go a certain direction, because things do change over time. And we've seen this time and time again, how many states in the last couple elections, flipped. You just never know. So don't feel like your vote doesn't matter. I've heard that so much when it comes to national elections in all my years as someone born and raised here in Idaho. You never know what could happen if everybody got out and voted. So just want to remind you, check your voter registration, have faith in the process. Be sure to get out and vote. You can, do early voting if you are worried that you're going to be out of the country or unavailable. You can request an absentee ballot, and you can get your voting done very soon. But do your part, especially you young people. Young people are always the worst when it comes to voting, and I get it. You're stuck at work. You're not like the boomers who are at home, got nothing else to do but get out and vote. Which is fine. Boomers, you earned your vacation, your retirement. But here's something from my experience. All of my bosses over the years, no matter what job I was working, if it was election day and I was like, hey, can I take my lunch, or can I have, 10 minutes extra at lunchtime so I can go vote? Everybody wants people to vote. So if you talk to your bosses, that, if you're worried about it, just do the absentee voting, get your mail-in ballot ahead of time. But day of, don't just throw in the towel. You can register day of, I believe, in Idaho, and get out and vote. So, just talk to your bosses that day. Unless they're a total piece of garbage, they're going to let you go do your part for the big election. And please, finally, I've talked about this plenty of times, please research candidates, okay? Really look into it, especially on the local level, because our local elections, there's a lot of upcoming initiatives that are very divisive. I mean, we even had the Attorney General of the state trying to shut down a certain issue that's going to be on the polls. I think the people there are too dumb to understand what this is. We got to take it off. No, go ahead and research those things. And again, don't let talking heads tell you how to vote. Use your own brain. Do the research and decide what's best for you personally. And nobody knows how you're going to vote when you're in that box. When you're in that box, you can tell your family and friends all day you voted a certain way. You're an individual. Don't let anybody pressure you. Do what you want to do for yourself when it comes to voting. All right? There you go. I'm Victor Wilt, and I'm out of here. I appreciate you tuning in today. Best listeners on the planet. Thank you for making my Monday pretty good. Good as a Monday can be. I hope your work week goes by quick. I hope the day goes by quick. And I guess I'm just going to keep trudging ahead. I got a lot of crap to get done around here. Wish me luck on that. We'll see. Better not end up here late. Or if so, whatever. Whatever. I'm going to leave now, people. Useless break. I shouldn't have even jumped on and talked. A lot of radio programmers would tell you, what, jumping on and telling the listeners bye, that is stupid. Well, sorry for being stupid, everybody. But I just always want to let you know I appreciate you. So I'm out of here. Thank you again for tuning in to the Victor Wilt Show. This program's a production of River. Why can't I say that? God.
Have to say Riverbend Media Group.
Riverbend Media Group. This program's a production of God. This program's a production of Riverbend Media Group. To contact the show or for more information, hit us up at riverbendmediagroup.com.